the teacher should create an environment where the students explore, they inquire, they find out, and that's how they learn. The most important aspect which one person has to identify is number one, to grow in any field and to prepare for anything, is a very fine measure of risk taking. People need to know their risk meter.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Chhoriya. I bring to you another iconic figure from the world of Indian academia. What we want to see the child in pursuit of knowledge and not knowledge in pursuit of the child, said George Bernard Shaw. There are many who teach and successfully connect the two most important partakers together, students with knowledge. Learning is a state of mind just like happiness. And we educators have to make this journey towards knowledge a happy one. Only then it would become a lifelong process a child would willingly look forward to as an adult, as a parent. Our guest today, Mr. Ramesh Mudgal, principal at Presidency School, North Bangalore, is an advocate of the above ideology and has implemented these two in his 2-decade-long career in academics. Welcome to Great Principles, sir. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Seema. The pleasure is mine and the honor is mine too.
Thank you, sir. So to begin with, sir, first we would like to know something about your childhood days, your once upon a time. It really have a greater impact on what we choose to be as adults. So take us back to your once upon a time.
Yeah, you see, I was born into a family of educationists because my dad was a teacher initially, and then he went on to become a principal. Big family of 5, brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest in my family. Okay, so our childhood, my primary school was in a government school, and then high school was in another private school. It was filled with lots of exploration because we were not confined, being in a big family, and the world did not have so many gadgets for people to be hooked on to. So we were explorers ourselves. We used to go on bicycles to far off places away from the city. We used to play, and especially Sundays we used to go hunting for the pitches, because during the summer all boys would be on the streets looking for cricket pitches, and there would be a lot of rush for those. So it was an exciting time. We learned many things. Academics was part of it, but none of us, it wasn't it wasn't a big deal at that point of time. We grew up, we attended the school, we had decent grades, and then most importantly, we had a whole lot of physical activity. I think that is what makes our childhood very exciting.
Yes, sir. So, sir, your early days, sir, how did it help you to be as what you do today?
Yeah, see, from the beginning, I was a good communicator. Okay, I was able to communicate well with people. Of course, during my primary school days and the high school days, we were studying in a regional language. It wasn't an English medium school. So mine was a Kannada medium school because I'm from Karnataka. So even so, obviously, all our communication was in Kannada. But even when it was in Kannada, I was still able to speak to people well, talk to them, kind of be a negotiator, kind of a role that I used to play even during my childhood days. So over a period of time, when I started with my graduation, then that's when I started, writing my BA in English medium. So, so I was able to convince people, talk to them. My ability to connect with people was pretty good. So I thought that my communication skills are very good. And after graduation, I thought that it would make sense for me to become teacher, because I'm able to talk to people, connect with people. So that's how I decided that it was appropriate for me to take up career in teaching. And ever since the first job, I have been a career teacher.
Wonderful, sir. For a teacher, it's not only about teaching. You actually need to connect to students. Very rightly said. You need to understand child emotionally too, so that you can deliver your best and he can understand his. So very rightly said. And so, you actually took me to my days also. Even I have the privilege of being in that generation, the gadget free, the internet free generation, where, we had the joy of riding our bicycles and, creating our own fun games and doing a lot of research on everything because we didn't have Google for every answer. So yes, even each one of us cherish those days of ours.
Absolutely.
So going ahead, sir, 24 years into education in various roles, and that too in many countries, you surely treasure a trove of academia. From a school teacher to a school leader, you must, have your own upheavals. So how do you prepare yourself for the next role and responsibilities?
Yeah, see, basically, ever the most important aspect which one person has to identify is number one, to grow in any field and to prepare for anything is a very fine measure of risk taking. People need to know their risk meter. Okay, a lot of people, they want to play safe most often. Now, when you want to play safe, there is hardly anything that anything great that can be achieved. One has to take risk, and that risk factor is one thing. Second thing is upskilling yourself, skilling yourself. So I know, if I had not kind of picked up the skills that I've picked up over a period of time, perhaps I wouldn't be as effective as I am. So of course, like me, there may be hundreds and thousands of school leaders, principals. They will be there, but I am I have run podcasts. I am running YouTube channels. I am also writing to magazines once in a while. I give speeches. Extempore speech is excellent. So there are so many skills which I have. I do video editing, audio editing. So the skills that I keep on adding, and which skills I feel are the ones important in current generation in 21st century. I think that is what keeps me motivated. Number one. Number two, that also helps me prepared for something that is coming up next. See, with the national education policy coming up, a lot of changes are going to take place in education. Education in India especially is not going to be rote learning anymore. So some fundamental revolutionary changes are being brought in. So there has to be a mind shift. The mindset shift has to happen. So I think I am willing to learn always, every year, adding something or the other. I think that's what is going to keep me ahead of things.
So a wonderful point brought on by Sir here, that if you want to grow to next level, you need to be a risk taker, you need to upskill yourself, and yes, be open to learn. It's always, learning has to be there, because every day, as Sir mentioned, new changes are coming in. We are seeing such technological booms. You never know what next is coming. So be open to learning. So going ahead to our next question, Sir. So you have led a school of repute for many years. So talk to us about major differences and challenges of Indian education in comparison to education in other countries.
Yeah. So what happens is that even in India there are schools and colleges that belong to a variety of curricula. Okay. When we talk about the other countries, so let's take the example of Singapore. Singapore has an excellent structure of curriculum, and there is a lot of emphasis on academic rigor. So it's a very, very highly rigorous kind of a curricula. That is why even the students of Singapore, they continue to consistently do well in the PISA international assessment that happens once in 4 years. The PISA assessment, they continue to do well. That's one part, because of the rigor which is there. Now, if we talk about the UAE education system in UAE, irrespective of whether the school follows an Indian curriculum or a British curriculum or an American curriculum or IB, all schools are being evaluated, inspected on one unified inspection criteria. As a result of that, whether you belong to an XYZ curricula, you are all following the opportunity or the path to excellence in education. So there, the independent learning, responsibility of the accountability and responsibility for learning is on the student. And there the focus is the teacher has to limit herself in speaking in the classroom. They don't expect the teachers to be explaining everything. No, that part has to be limited. The teacher should create an environment where the students explore, they inquire, they find out, and that's how they learn. Instead of the teacher doing everything and giving everything, it's the students who are expected to learn on their own. That's the major difference that I find between the Indian education system and the outside India. What is expected, what is happening there? Students are given opportunity to make mistakes, but here making mistake is a taboo with us. We don't expect mistakes at all. Mistakes are a total no for us, correct?
Right.
We only teach them, don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes. But if they don't make mistakes, how will they ever learn something new?
Absolutely.
Correct. So that's the major difference between the education system there. And here there is focus on assessment based education. There is a lot of focus. All of us focus mainly on what grade the student is getting, what marks the student is going to get, what percentage percentage determines many factors here, not what the student is actually capable of.
Right.
So that is the major difference between especially the Western education and the Indian kind of an education over here. I think, but the tide is turning. I can see that there is a lot of change that is happening in Indian system also, and especially with the NEP being implemented, I'm sure there is going to be a lot of positive change.
Yeah, so as you mentioned here, that we don't allow our children to make mistakes. It's even with the same thing has been, even with the parents. Parents are always like forcing, don't make mistakes, and we handhold our children too much. Always we are ready to extend our helping hand and take it further. We don't let the child to grow on their own. So here, along with educators, even as parents, we shoulder responsibility of letting our children to learn on their own. It's okay. It's fine to make mistakes. That is what makes us a better learner.
True.
Right. So, sir, this is something that needs to be, practiced on a wider scale to let children be independent, to make their choices. And again, the very important thing that you mentioned, compared to other countries over here, our teachers, we are just given a lot of information, and we are just supposed to learn it and reproduce it. Whereas we are not trying to learn the concept. The difference is there, and with NEP, let's see some major changes comes in this format of teaching.
The change, anyway, there is a change already happening. Many schools are already doing. The teachers are also practicing this, but this change is gradual. It's not going to be immediate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. And at least NEP has brought in the much needed introspection for the education, and hopefully big things are coming in.
Absolutely.
So going ahead, sir, how do we, parents and educator, make sense of the available knowledge on different online mediums for our children?
Yeah, so what happens is that there are some very specific websites which are available. All right. If the teachers, let's say if the parents are actually going to be looking for resources, the best person to ask is the subject teachers. They need to first find out from their own kids' teachers. Okay, I want to give extra work, or I want to make my child practice more in math, or I want my child to appear, let's say, solve some more worksheets in a particular subject. It could be science, or it could be math, or it could be English. What do I do? So the teachers are the ones, because they are professionals, they keep looking into various resources, and they are the subject matter experts. So first point of contact for parents should be that if they want some online resources, they need to ask the teachers of their child's classes. That's number one. Number two, they need to simply Google, but even then when they Google, they can even do a reviews, especially let's say ixl.com. ixl.com is a beautiful online product. It's a company that provides like Khan Academy and the others. IXL is definitely it's a commercial model. Khan Academy is absolutely free. So a lot of websites are there which are making the content available to the students. It can be Seneca, it can be Khan Academy, it can be ck12.org. The main point is to find out the reviews. Teachers or even parents or anybody, they can go to YouTube, top 5 technology things, review of top 5 technology things. Just as before you buy your smartphone, what would you do?
Right.
We would anyway go to YouTube or Google it and then say a review of a Samsung Note 20 or whatever it is we do. So there will be a few reviews of that. Based on that, they will be able to do. They will be able to come to a conclusion as to what is the most suitable resource, because internet, as we all know, every day millions of pages are being created. It's very difficult to come to one, but a lot of people are there who would have created the list, like top 10 in my channel itself. I have created some resources, websites and stuff like that, which the parents can use. Similarly, many people would have created such lists. I think by going through those lists, it will make the job for the parents and the teachers easier.
Absolutely, sir. And we parents, we have a habit of doing a lot of research because we want the best for our children. And you rightly said, the best thing is to approach the subject teacher. She is an expert out there, so she can give you the right direction as how to go further and whether the content that you have selected is going to help your child or not.
Correct.
Even with the subject knowledge, even she knows whether a child is how the child is performing in that subject and what is the area that needs to be worked upon. Yeah, absolutely, sir. So going ahead, sir, sir, you are a provider of the best learning environment for your students, and Presidency schools also emphasize on child-centric learning. So, sir, here I would like to ask you, kindly give us an insight on how to plan to exercise this philosophy of child-centric education in the current scenario.
Yeah, so when we talk about child-centric education, 2-3 aspects are very important over here. Number one aspect is that the children should be allowed to explore. They should be allowed to ask questions. They should be allowed and they should be guided to find out information on their own. We all know that information is available, correct? Right? So that is one part. Students should be allowed to explore, allowed to find out information and share that information. And the classroom has to be used more for discussion rather than teacher pouring out the information in the classroom. So that is one very important aspect. Okay. Then second aspect is making the student responsible gradually for their own learning. We need to make them understand the learning is for them. They need to internalize and acquire these skills. Okay. So that is the second aspect. The third aspect is opportunities for exercising creativity by the students. Creativity and problem solving are going to be the topmost skills in the current century. People are not looking for somebody who's got a lot of knowledge. They are not looking for that. People want someone who can see, here is a problem. I want to increase my sales. I want to increase the income of the company, or I have this particular problem. How do you solve it? So they're looking for people to come out with creative solutions, which is going to be cost effective. Now, that creating opportunities in the school to teach problem solving, that is again going to be a child-centric kind of an education. These are the 3 major things that are going to help a school, any school for that matter, to make their teaching learning absolutely child-centric. As the name itself, as the title itself suggests, that whatever we do, it should be centered around the child. So it's not like gone are the days when if I used to go to the classroom, I used to write a lot of things on my board, full of dust, or chalk dust and everything. I had the sense of satisfaction. Oh my God, such a great thing I have done today. How much is ultimately retained by the students, and whether the students found the whole thing interesting or not was secondary at that point of time. But today what matters is, are the students engaged? If your students are engaged in the lesson, that means your lesson is child-centric.
Wonderfully explained by sir here that how can child-centric education be practiced in each schools. And sir, you have brought a very important discussion over here on the future skills that are needed, and that is what is creativity is. We have such amazing solutions coming up every day, but how to reduce number of clicks to make an application more user-friendly? That is all the part of creativity. How a particular problem can be given a more easier solution. So this is what is the company that is going to look for in future. So, enhancing creativity is very much required today for our students. Very rightly said by sir here. So going ahead, sir. So, there are a lot of achievements and recognitions which have been bestowed on you, sir. So here, sir, whenever any child is also successful or he attains good academics performance or in sports, we all give them awards. So I would like to ask you here, what are your thoughts on expressing motivation?
Yeah, see, uh, this motivation from outside, I feel that it is a good thing, yes, but at the same time, quite often it is not very easily coming. Number one, okay. Number two, that should not become the primary factor. What my philosophy is, if you are truly good, if you're truly excellent, if you're truly worthwhile and valuable, then people will chase you, people will come to you, recognition will come your way. You don't have to be running after the awards and recognition and stuff like that. That is my personal view. However, you see that we also have seen when every year there are a lot of awards being announced, the top 100 principals, top 200 principal, top teachers and things like that. Quite often we're not very sure, like, is it a good thing, is it a bad thing? I have my own questions and doubts about that, but what matters is how many lives you're touching, okay, how your school is progressing, how many of your students are doing well in life, how many of your teachers feel empowered, how many of your teachers feel appreciated, how many of your teachers and staff feel that there is a leader who will listen to them, and there is a leader who's there, whom they can approach without any fear, right? Who shows a genuine interest in their own well-being and progress. I think these are the values that are going to be, holding a person in the hearts of people, rather than a certificate that comes to you and says that, okay, you're being bestowed with so and so award, kind of a thing.
So a very, very honest answer, I think, has come up here, that yes, extrinsic motivation does makes you feel good for a little while, and people start trusting more once they see that, okay, this person has been awarded this, they start seeing value. But you rightly said that your true value is how do you empower others? That is what is a true leader is. He looks forward to empower others and help others to reach to their zenith. So this is what is Sir's philosophy, and he practices it to the core. Yeah. So this brings to me to the very interesting segment of the show, sir. This is called Rapid Fire Round. Here we will be gathering some fun facts about you. You have to answer in one word and maximum a sentence that I would be permitting. So here in this segment. So the first question goes to you. What's your first thought when you enter the school premise?
Okay, which student am I going to meet first? Usually. So I give a very broad smile to whichever student I see first.
So a very broad smile, a welcoming gesture is something which is Sir's first thought is there. So next question, what is your leisure time activity?
Reading.
Reading, all right. Who is your favorite author?
Frederick Forsyth.
Are you a tea or coffee person?
Coffee.
Coffee. Name the favorite corner of your house.
Drawing room.
Drawing room, all right. So wonderful. Now, sir, we are going ahead to our next question. This is not a rapid fire round. We are done with this segment, and it was really wonderful to know you. Sir is a coffee person. He loves reading, and a broad smile is something that kicks us the day in school. So going ahead, sir, to the inspiration section now. We all look up to someone, who inspires us, who motivates us. So who is that one educator who motivates you on a daily basis?
Yeah, see, basically there have been a lot of people who have been, who have inspired me. Okay, they can be teachers, they can be from any other field. But I remember one of my primary school teachers. Okay, he was my social studies teacher. So even in those days when the technology was not there, since that particular day itself, just by his communication and by speaking, he made the learning so effective for all of us, and he developed a love for social studies among us. I think I remember that teacher really, really well, and he is one of the greatest motivators for me.
Wonderful, sir. So going ahead, sir, the last question, which is also called viewer's choice question. We get many questions from our viewers who want to ask something. So this one is for you. You have taught, in many countries and different curriculum patterns you have been taking care of. You started your journey as an educator in India, and now you're back in your own country leading a renowned school. So how does India fare on the charts of competitive exam preparations and why?
Well, when you talk about competitive exam preparation, India tops number one, in my opinion, because we love competition. We thrive on competition. Correct?
Right,
So,
right.
so in terms of preparing for the students for competitive exams, we have probably the world's number one status as far as that is concerned, because there is concept of alternate education. There is the plan B and plan C concept in other countries. So a students actually they don't focus on one thing and then they will keep on looking for the same thing. No, they have the option. Okay, if they don't get into Ivy League universities, but they don't mind getting into some other university also. But for us, it's that one goal, and to achieve that goal, we start preparation for 5 years. Correct? So I think in terms of preparing students for competitive exams, it again depends what kind of competitive exams are we referring to. Is it a job related competitive exam? Is it an admission entrance like JEE or NEET exam? But any exam for that matter, the preparation in our country is solid.
So is it, sir, if I come to the question why part, is it that we don't have other options or we are not willing to look into the other options? As you said, other countries' children are okay to go into other universities also.
There are, I mean, what is happening is there is it's actually historical way of looking at things. Okay. It's like, I would like to draw a safe comparison between what is happening. Okay. It's a share market. There is a share market. Now, we know that in share market there is definitely risk involved, but at the same time those people who take the risk, they also are expecting a higher return. Higher the risk, higher the return. Now here, if you explore an unconventional career path, there can be risk, there is a risk, but at the same time, if you succeed over there, you can become an extremely well. So for us, the safe path is what we have always advised. So what is a safe path? Either you take up engineering, or you take up you become a doctor, or you become a lawyer, or you become something else. Artists and all, they are there, but that is, I'm sure, very, unless you belong to an artist family, you would hardly find that kind of an encouragement where you take up art as your career. So I think that part, because it comes from the fact that safety, we do not want to try out something new, because we feel that that is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is you crack the JEE exam, or you join an engineering college, finish your engineering college, you land a job. So it's like focused on that career part is there, which is why there is a lot of focus on competition. But I'm happy to note there are lots of universities, higher, including our own university, Presidency University. A lot of universities are coming out with some unconventional courses that don't generally fall in the category of a typical job preparation kind of a thing, that allow students to explore. They give the freedom to the students to find multiple sources, multiple options for careers. So I think there is a lot of change that is happening. People are also becoming very open-minded with respect to preparing themselves for career choices.
So talking about career choices, I would also request you to throw some lights for some new age career options, like other than the lawyer, doctor, engineer. What are some new age career options for
Yeah,
you?
so there is a lot of career. See, in the next 10 to 15 years time, data science is going to become extremely huge. It's a machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence. They're all interconnected in one way or the other. So data science is going to be hugely popular. What was computer science about 20, 25 years ago, 95 to early 2000s? It was a boom, right? The IT boom was there. I can see that boom happening in data science. Is a part of the computer science department itself, because everything is going to get automated, more and more automation. That's number one. Number two, technology in basically the electric vehicle technology. Electric vehicle technology, it can be related to battery, it can be related to navigation, it can be related to the computers, programming and stuff like that related to that. That is going to be extremely valuable in the few years. Then space science.
Yeah.
Space science is going to become extremely valuable because more and more people are exploring. We have seen Richard Branson has already flown to the space. Amazon, CEO Jeff Bezos has been to space, and we have seen Elon Musk already running a highly successful SpaceX company. So space exploration is going to become very common. It may not be in the next 10 to 20 years, but there's a lot of interest that is going to go. And then non-conventional energy sources like solar, wind. These are the fields, because more and more countries around the world are going to focus more on alternative sources of energy. So these factors and these sources of energy, students who are doing wind courses in wind energy, solar energy, they are going to be in demand, a lot more in demand.
So to all my viewers out there, parents out there, sir has thrown light on future career options available. And these are the things that can be looked upon. And yes, let your children choose their own career paths. You have already done your part by choosing their schoolings and colleges. Now let them choose their careers. It's okay, they will make mistakes. But yes, some unconventional career are there, and let's not let's start thinking out of the box, and let's not force our desires on our children or on selecting certain type of career. I being a doctor, I'll want my child to also be a doctor. Let's try and break that stereotype and think something new. So this was all about Ramesh sir. So thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful session. It was an absolutely amazingly insightful session. We got a lot of insights today, on future career options, on child-centric education, and what should be the right method of teaching and learning. So thank you so much for your time, sir. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Ms. Seema, and I wish you all the best to you and your team for all your endeavors. And it has been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.